I woke up in a stranger's body. His hands, clutching a razor at my throat. Blood trickling warm and unfamiliar down a neck that wasn't mine. The mirror lied to me that morning, showing a face I'd seen only in nightmares. The kind where betrayal tastes like rust on your tongue. And just like that, I decided, if the world thought Oakley was dead, fine, but the man who stole my life would beg for it by sundown. It started, or ended, depending on how you count these things, in the pre-dawn haze of a Chicago winter. My apartment on the edge of Wicker Park smelled like stale coffee and regret, the kind that seeps into the walls after too many nights chasing leads on a story that no one wanted to hear. I was Oakley Harlan, 34, a mid-level investigative reporter for the Chicago Tribune, the guy who dug into corruption like it was a bad habit. I'd been chasing whispers about Victor Kane, the golden boy of the city's tech elite. Kane Industries wasn't just building apps, they were puppeteering politicians, laundering money through AI startups that promised to revolutionize ethics. I'd gotten too close enough that my sources dried up. My brakes failed once on Lakeshore Drive. And my ex-wife, Lena, started getting anonymous calls telling her to leave town. That neighbor knock at 5 a.m.? It was Mrs. Petrovich from 3B, her face pale as the snow piling up outside, eyes darting like she'd seen ghosts. "Oakley, don't go to work today," she whispered through the crack in the door, her robe clutched tight against the chill. "Something's wrong." I heard voices, your voice, but not yours. From the basement. I laughed it off, chalked it up to her insomnia and the vodka she chased with chamomile. But as I slammed the door, a shiver hit me, the kind that says your gut knows before your brain catches up. By 7 a.m., I was in the newsroom, pounding black coffee and scrolling through encrypted emails from a whistleblower inside Kane's empire. The Tip, a black site lab in the suburbs, experimenting with neural mapping, uploading consciousness, swapping minds like firmware updates. It sounded like sci-fi bullshit, but the files attached, blueprints for Project Echo, timestamps matching unexplained suicides among Kane's rivals. I fired off a query to my editor, hit send, and felt eyes on me. Not paranoia, actual eyes. Across the bullpen, a new intern, some kid with a too-perfect smile, was watching. He'd introduced himself as Jax, but something in his gaze screamed Victor Kane. Noon hit like a freight train. My phone buzzed, not a call, but a text from an unknown number. "It's done. You're free now." Free? I pocketed it. Stepped out for a smoke in the alley behind the Trib building. That's when the world tilted. A van screeched up, unmarked, doors flying open. Two suits grabbed me, chloroform rag to the face.
And black.
I came to strapped to a gurney in what looked like a converted warehouse, sterile white walls, humming servers, the acrid tang of ozone.
Dr.
Elias Crow loomed over me, his face a mask of clinical detachment, scalpel glinting under surgical lights. "Mr. Harlan," he said, voice like gravel in a blender. "You're about to make history." Kane was there too, in the shadows, his Armani suit impeccable, that predator's grin splitting his Botox-smooth face. "You poked the bear, Oakley. Now you get to wear its skin." They didn't explain Project Echo, not fully. But as the four dripped and monitors beeped, I pieced it, neural transference. They'd mapped my brain weeks ago, during that routine physical my paper made me take. Kane's tech could swap essences, yours into his body, his into yours.
Why?
Power. Kane was cornered, SEC sniffing his books. Feds closing in on the suicides he'd orchestrated to silence leaks. But if Oakley Harlan confessed to fabricating stories, took the fall for embezzlement, and worse, Kane walked free in a new shell.
Me?
I'd rot in a cell, my mind trapped in his failing body, cancer-riddled, they said, from years of stress. The swap hit like drowning in static. 1 second. I was me, scar on my left knuckle from a bar fight in college, calluses from typing manifestos. The next, smooth hands, a reflection in the monitor showing Kane's chiseled jaw, his ice-blue eyes staring back. My old body, his now, lurched up, grinning with my teeth. Feels good, he said in my voice, flexing fingers that used to be mine. Thanks for the upgrade, Harlan. They dumped me, him. The new me, in my apartment, doped to hell. By evening, Oakley was in custody, babbling confessions on live TV. I'd planted evidence, slept with sources, framed Kane out of jealousy. The trip fired me posthumously. Lena filed for divorce from a jail cell ghost. But here's the hook they didn't see coming. The swap wasn't clean. Echo left echoes, flashes of Kane's memories bleeding into mine. His childhood abuse at the hands of a drill sergeant dad. The first kill, a rival coder. Staged as OD. The thrill of puppeteering senators with deepfakes. And buried deep, the secret that gutted me. Lena wasn't just my ex. She'd been Kane's mole, feeding him my moves for a cut of the empire. Betrayal. Served cold with a side of alimony. I spent the first week as Victor Kane playing the part, pressers at City Hall, schmoozing donors at the Peninsula, all while plotting in the penthouse mirrors. His body was a machine, endless stamina, no hangovers, a Rolodex of fixers on speed dial. But the cancer? It was real, gnawing at his liver like a bad conscience. Each twinge reminded me, time was short. I needed to flip the script, make him pay in my skin before he buried it forever. First move, controversial as hell. I accessed Kane's private server, biometrics were mine now, and leaked partial echo files to a dark web forum. Not enough to burn him, just sparks to draw out his rats. Replies flooded in, ex-employees, mistresses, even a senator's aide with a grudge. One name popped, Riley Voss, Crow's assistant, the weak link. She met me at a dive in Pilsen. Eyes hollow, chain-smoking parliaments. He made me watch the swaps, she whispered over whiskey shots. The screams. They echo. Riley had the kill code, a virus to fry echo servers, but she'd won out clean. I promised her a new life. Vancouver maybe, with Kane's slush fund.
Lie.
The moment she handed the drive, I'd ghost her.
Sacrifices.
Right? In Revenge's ledger. Innocence is just collateral. But Voss was smarter than she looked. As we slipped into the night, shadows peeled off the wall, Kane's security, my old face barking orders. Gunfire cracked the air, bullets pinging off brick. I shoved Voss into the alley, took a graze to the shoulder, hot, wet pain in his flesh, and fired back with Kane's custom Beretta. One goon down, knee shattered, screaming like a gutted pig. The other bolted. Voss stared at me, betrayal in her eyes. You're just like him. I shot her in the leg, not fatal, but enough to buy silence. Controversial? Hell yes. But she lived, and the drive was mine. Back in the penthouse, I patched up, chugged oxys from his medicine cabinet, and dove into the files. Echo wasn't just swaps, it was a vault of sins. Kane had bodied out of 3 hits already, a union boss in 18, drowned in the Chicago River, a journalist, irony, in 21, heart attack in her bathtub. And the big one, my mistake. 5 years back, I'd broken a story on a police cover-up, brutality, at a Black Lives Matter protest. It tanked careers, sparked riots. But the mole? Lena. She'd tipped Kane, who owned the cops, and framed me for doctoring footage. I took the heat, suspension, death threats, while she cashed checks and climbed to anchor at a rival station. The secret chafed. I'd borne her crime, shielded her from the wolves. Because love's blind like that. Dawn broke as I geared up. Raid Kane's lab, now my lab, tonight. I'd pose as him, slip in with Voss's code, initiate a reverse swap. But twists wait for no man. As I suited up, his phone buzzed. A video from Oakley, me. In my body, hunched in a holding cell. But the eyes?
Wrong.
Desperate. Vic, it's me. Harlan. The swap's glitching. Memories bleeding back. I remember. Everything.
Lena?
She wasn't yours. She was ours. What the fuck? In the flood of Kane's echoes, I glimpsed it. A threesome gone toxic. Lena playing both sides. But the betrayal? Deeper. Kane had seduced her first. Used her to gut me. But the child, the one she aborted without telling me?
His.
Rage boiled. But so did doubt. Was this him manipulating? Or truth cracking through? I smashed the phone. But the seed was planted. Revenge sharpened. But now laced with what-ifs. The lab assault was pure chaos. American dream twisted dark. I rolled up in Kane's Tesla, armed with a suppressed Glock and Voss's drive. Guards waved me through. He never came at night. Inside, the hum of servers like a hive mind. Crow was there, hunched over a console. His lab coat stained with what? Sweat. Or worse. Mister Kane, he stammered. The Harlan vessel is destabilizing. We need to. I pressed the Glock to his temple.
Talk.
Everything. He spilled. Echo was failsafe. Swaps weren't permanent. Neural decay set in after 30 days. Kane's plan? Ride my body long enough to testify. Then swap back, leaving me a vegetable in his corpse shell. And the hook. Crow wasn't loyal. He'd rigged a backdoor for the feds, insurance. Betrayal within betrayal. I zip-tied him. Uploaded the virus. Alarms wailed as screens flickered. Data hemorrhaging to every news outlet from CNN to WikiLeaks. That's when he arrived, my body. Kane's mind. Storming in with SWAT shadows. Gunfight erupted, muzzle flashes strobing the white halls. Bullets ricocheting like accusations. I dove behind a server rack, his voice, my voice, echoing. You think you're me now? I built this. A round clipped my ear, blood spraying hot. I returned fire, dropping 2 suits, their vests blooming red. Controversial call. I lobbed a flashbang into the fray, blinding my own reflection. In the chaos, I dragged Crow to the swap chamber, strapped him down. Your turn to echo. The machine whirred to life. But Kane burst through, tackling me, fists flying, my face against his. We grappled, breaths ragged, mirrors shattering around us. You are nothing, he snarled in my timbre. A hack chasing scraps. I headbutt him, tasting copper. And you? a parasite in stolen skin. I pinned him, injected the sedative, his own cocktail. As his eyes rolled, truth twisted, in the scuffle. A memory flash, his hit me. The abortion? Not his kid.
Mine.
Lena lied to both. Played us like pawns for her climb. The betrayal? Mutual. We'd both been cucked. I initiated the reverse. Electricity arced. Bodies convulsing. When the hum died, I blinked, back in my skin. Scars familiar. Cancer's ache gone. Kane slumped in his, gasping wetly. Finish it, he wheezed. I hesitated, controversial, as pulling the trigger on your ghost. Instead, I hit record on my phone, made him confess. Echo. The hits. Lena's roll. Liv streamed it to the dark web. Then the Trib's tip line. Cops swarmed at dawn. Sirens wailing like Judgment Day. Kane arrested in his own flesh. Crow singing like a canary.
Me?
Vindicated, but hollow. Lena called from D.C. Voice syrup sweet. Oakley, baby, it's over. Come home. I hung up, blocked her. The ending? Debatable. I got my byline back. Pulitzer whispers. But the echoes lingered, nights waking in cold sweats, wondering if parts of him stuck. Revenge tasted sweet, but soured quick. Was I hero, or just another monster in the machine? As for Voss, she walked, limp and all, on a bus to Canada. My promise, a one-way ticket and clean cash. Mrs. Petrovich? She got a fruit basket. No explanation. And the noon call? Police. Confirming Oakley Harlan was innocent. The real Victor Kane rotting in Supermax. But in the quiet, I wonder if swaps echo forever. Whose life am I really living? The fallout hit like a Midwest blizzard, slow building, then burying you alive. 2 weeks post-swap, and Chicago's underbelly was churning. Front pages screamed, Kane's mind heist exposed. My byline splashed across them like vindication ink. Protests clogged Michigan Avenue. Signs waving. Who owns your soul? Tech bros decried it as unsubstantiated hysteria, but the videos, Kane's confession, raw and ragged, didn't lie. SEC froze his assets. Senators distanced faster than rats from a sinking yacht.
Me?
Oakley Harlan. Reborn. Nursing a beer at the Green Mill. Jazz saxophone wailing like my conscience. But echoes don't fade easy. Nightmares blended our sins. I jolt awake. Hands around Lena's throat, not mine. His impulse. During the day, flashes crippled me. Kane's boardroom conquests. The power rush of signing a rival's death warrant. Therapy?
Please.
My shrink.
Dr.
Ramirez. A no-nonsense Latina from Pilsen. Called it neural residue. You're grieving 2 deaths. Oakley. She'd say over herbal tea that tasted like regret. Yours. And the man you glimpsed in him. Grieving? Bullshit. I was armoring up for round 2. Because the twist I'd glimpsed in that warehouse scuffle, it unraveled everything. Lena.
God.
Lena. We'd met at Northwestern. J-School Sparks in a dive bar off campus. She was fire, curves like the curves of Lake Michigan. Laugh that cut through bullshit. Married young.
Divorced Messier.
But the memory bleed showed me the rot. Our last fight. Pre-separation. Her whispering to Kane on a burner while I slept. He's close.
Vic.
The echo files, he's got a source. And the abortion? She'd framed it as timing, but Kane's echo confessed. He'd pressured her. called the kid leverage to keep her loyal. Yet the ultrasound I'd buried in my desk drawer, stolen from her trash, dated it wrong.
Mine.
She'd lied to get us both. Climb her ladder. Betrayal's a hydra. Cut one head. Two grow. I needed proof irrefutable. Courtroom poison. Controversial play. Hacker. Not me. Personally, too sloppy. I tapped Riley Voss.
Post Canada.
She'd surfaced on a burner app. Leg healed but grudge eternal. You shot me, Harlan. But Kane? He broke me. 50 grand wired. And she was in, remote access to Lena's cloud via a phishing link disguised as a network pitch. Files poured, emails to Kane, Oakley's digging distract him. Bank wires from Shell Core. Even a diary entry. Tonight. I choose ambition over ghosts. Forgive me, little one. It burned, but fueled me. Next, confront her. Not rash, calculated. I lured her to our old spot. The Violet Hour. Speakeasy dim with velvet booths and craft cocktails that masked the poison. She glided in, CNN blazer crisp. Hair pinned like a crown. Oakley, she purred, sliding into the booth. You look haunted. Martini in hand, I slid the printouts across emails, wires. The ultrasound scan I'd mocked up with Voss's help. Timestamps doctored just enough to sting. Her face cracked, micro-expressions I'd learned from Kane's poker tells. It's not what you think.
Lies.
She spun it. Kane coerced. Threatened her career. The pregnancy a mistake under duress. I protected you.
Oak.
Took the heat, so you wouldn't shatter.
Protected?
I laughed. Bitter as the gin. You fed him my soul. Lena. For a byline and a brownstone. Voices rose, heads turned. Controversial? Whispering accusations in public. Risking her glass ceiling. But power's a drug. I wanted her stripped. Vulnerable. She leaned in. Eyes wet. Crocodile or genuine. Swap or no. You're still the boy who chased shadows. Victor saw me, really saw.
Slap.
My hand connected before thought. Her cheek blooming red under the low lights. Bartender hovered. I tossed cash. Stormed out into the loop's neon frenzy. Behind me, her sob, I loved you both.
Loved.
Past tense. The hydra hissed. Word spread, gossip mills grind fine in media circles. By morning, whispers linked me to assault at the Violet. HR emails pinged. But I had bigger fish. The feds wanted testimony, grand jury on Echo. I prepped in a motel off I-90, chain-smoking camels, scripting lies as truths. Omit Voss's limp. The goon's shattered knee. I'd called it self-defense, but video from a ring cam painted me trigger-happy. Controversial decisions stack like indictments. And the big one, mercy for Crow? The doc had flipped, testifying Kane's vision, not his hands. I could bury him, leak his role in the suicides, or let him walk for intel on Kane's offshore vaults. Choice made in the motel's flickering fluorescence. Bury. Voss hacked his emails too, proof he greenlit the union boss drowning. Even held the guy's head under in simulation runs. Sent to the U.S. Attorney. Anonymous. Controversial? Dooming a broken man to conspiracy charges. But Echo's demand balance, his sins in my skin now. The grand jury was a circus, marble halls of the Dirksen. Suits sweating under AC blasts. I took the stand, voice steady. Kane didn't just steal money, he stole lives. mine included. Questions probed. The swap's mechanics. Consent, huh? The bodies left comatose in vats. I danced around Voss. Called the lab raid impromptu justice. Jurors nodded, Midwestern decency laced with vengeance thirst. Outside, protesters chanted my name. Inside, doubt gnawed. Was I hero? Or Kane 2.0? Wielding truth like a weapon? Post-testimony. A tale, subtle. A black SUV mirroring my cab. Paranoia? Or Kane's remnants? I ditched it in a Garfield Park alley. Heart pounding. Glock heavy in my jacket. That's when the call came. Unknown. Lena's voice. Fractured. Oakley? Stop. He's out. Out? Bail hearing that morning, Kane's lawyers spun, coerced confession, neural duress. 1 million wired. And he was free. Rotting body or not. Panic surged. But so did clarity. The twist reversed. Kane wasn't fleeing. He was coming for the kill code. Voss's drive, my ace, hidden in a locker at Union Station. I raced there. Crowds parting like Red Sea doubts. He was waiting, my body, gaunt now. Chemo scars peeking from cuffs. Harlan, he rasped. My old voice gravel. We end this. Swap back. Clean. I chambered around.
Clean?
After Lena? The kid. His laugh, mine echoed hollow. She chose wrong. Both ways.
But you. You're me now.
The power suits you. Temptation clawed. One more swap. His empire mine. Cancer his again. Controversial precipice. But echoes whispered. Parasite. I fired, warning shot, shattering a locker door. He bolted into the throng, lost in Amtrak chaos. Night fell heavy as I tailed him to the lab's ruins, torched by feds. But vaults intact. Security bypassed with his face, my face. Inside. Acrid smoke. Servers gutted. He waited by the swap chamber.
For prepped.
Do it, he said. Or we both die echoes. Struggle again, fists. Revelations. He confessed. The neighbor? Mrs. Petrovich. His plant. Dosed with warnings to spook me pre-swap. The noon call? His script? To lure me out. I strapped him down. Machine humming reluctant. But as needles pierced, truth inverted, the bleed went both ways. In his eyes, my eyes, I saw my sins. The protest story? I'd embellished quotes. Chased Pulitzer glory over facts. Lena's frame? Partial. I'd ignored her warnings. Blinded by ego. The Hydra laughed. We'd both borne crimes. Swapped blames. Reverse initiated. Agony ripped, static. Fire. Rebirth. I awoke in his body again.
No glitch.
Chamber fried. Essences tangled. He gasped in mine. I in his. But memories merged full. Victor Oakley Kane. One mind. Two shells? No, dual consciousness. Warring. Climax crashed. We lunged. Fused souls clawing for dominance. Guns skittered. Consoles sparked. His hand, mine, closed on the overload switch. Together, he whispered. Controversial end. We flipped it. Explosion bloomed. Lab inferno swallowing us both. Or one. Feds later found 2 crisp bodies. IDs swapped. DNA lied. Echoes won. Flames licked the night sky over the industrial sprawl. Sirens a distant wail as the lab crumbled into ash and accusation. I didn't die, not fully. The overload shorted the chamber, essences splintering like shrapnel. But one shell endured, Kane's body, my mind dominant, his echoes silenced to whispers. Crawling from the debris, lungs seared, I vanished into the Fox River fog, hijacked a trucker's rig, headed west on I-94, toward the anonymity of the Badlands. Oakley Harlan? Presumed dead. Hero's pyre. Victor Kane? Fugitive ghost. Empire crumbling under indictments. The drive blurred, opioid haze from scavenged meds. Radio droning Springsteen anthems of busted dreams. Born to run. Ironic as hell. Whispers nagged. Was it mercy? Or cowardice? The switch, our mutual suicide pact, debatable to the end. Controversial calculus. Better two monsters, ash than one ruling? Feds spun it noble, tabloids. Murder-suicide twist. Lena's on-air eulogy? Crocodile tears. My loves. Lost to ambition's fire. She'd inherit scraps. Book deal. Podcast on Tech's dark heart. South Dakota welcomed me cold. A Fleabag motel in Rapid City. Alias Jack Harlan, nodding to ghosts. Days bled into weeks. Diner shifts flipping burgers. Nights nursing the cancer's advance. Kane's parting gift. Tumors blooming like bad seeds. But power lingers. His Rolodex? Burned, but numbers memorized. A call to an offshore fixer. Liquidate the Cayman's hold. Route to untraceables. Millions trickled, enough for a new life. Or old vengeance refined. Boss resurfaced. Encrypted ping from Vancouver. Leg aches in rain. You owe details. I wired more. Confess the merge. Half an now? Her reply. Then kill the half. Sage. But surgery's no scalpel for souls. Instead, I hunted remnants. Kane's network. Lieutenants in hiding. Senators sweating audits. First target. Senator Hale. The puppeteered hack who'd greenlit Echo subsidies. I posed as consultant. Met him at a Sioux Falls steakhouse, ribeye rare. Whiskey neat. Hale was paunchy. Ruddy-faced Midwest graft incarnate. Kane's gone. Son. What loose ends? I leaned in. Voice Kane's velvet threat. The ones that choke. Flash drive slid. Hale's emails. Echo bribes. His fork trembled. Blackmail? After all this. Controversial pivot. Not kill. But convert. Testify clean. Or your daughter's med school goes private. He blanched, leverage from Kane's files. A co-ed's wild youth. Hale folded. Flipped on air. Kane owned us all. Ripple effect. More rats squeaked. Empire's pillars toppled. But Lena loomed. Hydra's queen head. Whispers urged. End her. She was ascending. Anchor slot at MSNBC. Special on the Harlan Kane enigma. Interviews painted me saint. Him devil. Her. Tragic widow. Lies chafed. I drove east. Ghosting through Iowa cornfields. To D.C.'s Marble Maw. Stakeout. Her Georgetown brownstone. Lights golden. Laughter spilling with network suits. One night. She stepped out solo, gown for a gala. Heels clicking isolation. Confrontation in the fog-shrouded alley. Lena. She froze. Spun. Recognition dawning slow. Then horror.
Vic?
No, Oakley? My laugh. Dual timbre. Gravel and grit. Pick one. Or both. She backed against brick. Clutch spilling lipstick and lies. You're dead. Echoes aren't. Revelations poured. The pregnancy truth. Her double dealings. The mole network she'd spun post-swap. I did it for us, she sobbed. Power for the family we could've. Slap?
No.
Worse. Exposure. I hit record. Her confessions tumbling. Yes. I framed him. Cain promised the world. But twist reversed again, her eyes. Fierce through tears. And you? Oakley's story on the protests? You knew the footage was doctored. Buried it for the scoop. I covered your ass. Hydra strike. Mutual sins.
Mirrored.
The abortion? She'd terminated to shield me from scandal. Post-protest fallout. Betrayal's Mobius strip. We'd borne each other's crimes. Swapped guilts like skins. Controversial crux. Mercy or match. I deleted the recording. Tossed the phone into the Potomac at dawn. Live with it, I said, vanishing into metro shadows.
Why?
Echoes whispered redemption's edge, debate fodder, forgiveness as weakness, or the only true revenge. Months ground on. Cancer clawed deeper. I holed up in a Black Hills cabin. Morphine dreams of swaps and screams. Voss visited once. Crutches gone. Eyes steel. You're fading, Jack. We talked echoes, her complicity in lab horrors. My trigger pulls. We're all vessels, she said, handing a vile, experimental neural scrubber. Black market echo offshoot. Wipe him clean. Or don't. Choice. Inject. Agony peaked, static storm. Memories fracturing. Cain's sins sloughed like dead skin. Boardroom kills. Lena's whispers. Mine remained. Ambition's blind spots. The protest embellish that sparked real blood. Woke renewed. Tumors? Stalled. Not gone. But whole, Oakley dominant. Victor's power a tool. Not tyrant. Ending? Debatable as a jury hung. I surfaced anonymous tip to the Trib. Harlan Levs. Byline returned. Stories on Echo survivors. Comatose swaps thawing. Suing for souls. Lena? Anchored her last show. Scandal breaking mid-broadcast. Hale's testimony naming her. She resigned. Faded to podcasts from obscurity. Voss? Thrived. Tech ethicist. Leg a badge.
Me?
Wandering the heartland. Chasing truths unswapped. Mrs. Petrovich's fruit basket? Returned. With a note. Knew you weren't done. The noon call's reason? Freedom's price. Eternal vigilance. Hook's end. If echoes linger. Is revenge ever done? Or just the start of living with a thief in your mirror? In the end, I chose life, scarred. Controversial. American as apple pie a la mode with arsenic. Because in the swap game, the real winner's the one who walks away, wondering if the skin fits.